Now, recording.
Okay. Hello, good day to you.
Who are you?
I'm Angela.
What are you doing?
Hi, I'm Angela. I'm in fabulous Las Vegas, and we're in lockdown. And today I decided to get motivated because my friend Jeremy motivated me. My friend Jeremy, I wanted to interview him. He gave me some good ideas of what to do during this lockdown. So I'll let him introduce himself. Who are you and what do you do?
All right, here we go. Oops. Oh,
Like the Vegas Strong hat there.
okay. Well, it's Vegas Stronger now. I need to get a new one.
Vegas Strong.
Here we go.
So this is the one and only fabulous.
Oh, wow. Jeremy Settles. My name is Jeremy Settles with GotFilms. I own a film company called GotFilms.com. Been doing TV and film for about 30 years. And that's my life.
Check out his amazing credentials. Last night I was stalking your website. Incredible. I think we met back in 2006 at the Palms. Is
Yeah.
that how we got connected? Oh, my glasses aren't as fancy as yours. These are the 99-cent dollar, no lighting. Okay, so Jeremy, what project are you working on now? I want to share with everybody.
Okay, last week or before this virus took over the city, I was just finishing up a feature film. It's in post-production now. A couple of films on, just in post-production and distribution. But I decided to say, well, I'm locked down. And so I decided to make a documentary called Closing Vegas. And so we have Closing Vegas documentary.com and then Closing Vegas on a Facebook page where we're just doing stories of people that are dealing with this crisis in Vegas, and we're all locked down. So trying to make it interesting with some stories and then also some news articles and, just what we could do in Vegas to what's going on in Vegas for unemployment. And, I'm also part of the IATSE Union 720. I've been a member for like 25 years doing feature films such as Rush Hour 2, The Mexican, 3,000 Miles of Graceland, and Pay It Forward. So it's just informational. People are doing things from their house. They're singing and dancing. It's a kind of like an all-around one-stop shop for what's going on with Vegas.
Thank you, by the way, because today's my first day using Zoom, and I'm already a fan. So thank you for enlightening me to do this today. And so what's it like working on this project right now? Because we're limited. We're limited to everything. We're limited to all our resources. You're putting information online. You're just giving everybody information. You're trying to keep yourself motivated. What is it like?
Before it started, I was capturing some footage on Las Vegas Boulevard before they did the typical shutdown. And so I was just shooting a lot of B-roll footage and stuff I could capture. Later on, I'll do interviews because I knew I didn't have time to do interviews and we're crisis. So I'm just capturing footage of the Las Vegas Boulevard shut down. There's a lot of people that have posted photos and video already up to the site. Eventually, I'll see if it's possible to use that in the documentary. And, just capturing the whole vibe. I heard also April 1st, they're supposed to be doing a 300-car run from Town Square down Las Vegas Boulevard. So I'll try to reach out to some camera operators that will capture some footage and hopefully we'll get some good shots. And then eventually we'll just put this documentary together on how it's affecting every business, and from the hotels to entertainment to film. I'm in the film business, so for me, pretty much anything in sports, entertainment, and conventions and everything got shut down. So there's a lot of opportunity in Vegas. There's a lot of talent from the Strip, showgirls and people. I'm not in that world, but I know their stories. So that's why we have this documentary going where they could tell their story of how it's affecting their family, how they do in social media, how their kids are going to school now, online training. So there's a lot of things there. And I think it's It's just a lot of things where we just have to sit back and pray for each other. And then, I think it's like there's a calming issue, just to calm down. I think because we're in the fast pace of Vegas with casinos and this, and our lives are very 24-hour activation. And now we're kind of like figuring out, oh, I could calm down and maybe do some things with my family, or I'm learning how to cook after 49 years. So I'm learning how to do things or opportunities right here. So
No, I agree. This is like a reset button. This is very difficult for me as well, as far as being in the Vegas vibe. And like you said, the fast pace of Vegas, for me to stop and hit a reset button is like a huge reality check of what are my talents and what else can I use them as. So this is a wonderful opportunity for me to interview you. And I'm very grateful and thankful and blessed to have this time, to take the time out to do that and use, some other parts of talents and then share with everybody. You're not alone. You're not going through this by yourself. We're all in this together. And I think this is a great idea to keep everybody positive and motivated.
that's
So
correct.
do you feel that way?
I think it's a great opportunity to reach out to your friends, your loved ones, and see how they're doing. And since we have software or something, programs like a Zoom or FaceTime, whatever, I think it's an opportunity just to reach out and say, "Hey, I love you. I can't give you a hug, but I could."
Can air.
So it's things like that. I think that it's more, God's love, that we're all love. We're all human beings, and I think that that's we need to step back and, even though we're doing a variety of different things to keep our hustle and bustle in Vegas to, take care of your family. But I think the opportunity now is to be safe and, just reach out to your loved ones that may be in a scenario. I have a particular friend who's he's 92 years old, and I can only see him through the window. He's not affected by the coronavirus. His name is Rudy Guarino, and he started a club back in the 60s and 70s called the Sugar Shack. And so he's 92 years old. So I'm doing a documentary with him. So I have to, his family's out by the windows, and I can see him in the window, and he wakes up and, he's smiling and whatever he can do, because he's struggling too, just because of old age, not because of the virus or anything like that. But some people they can't go. I have a mother-in-law that's in a memory care center, and I went to see her a week before and gave her ice cream, and I filled out the test, and they did a temperature, and they let me in there. But then after I went there, I gave her some ice cream, and then that Monday we can't. They locked that down, so we can't even go inside the facility. So,
That's terrible. Yeah.
If you can make a phone call. And she's in memory care, and I was like, "This is the safest place for you." I was telling her, I said, "There's a lot of chaos out there, and I try to be funny. Go, hey, is there a room here I could stay here? You got the food, and I wash your clothes, and just make it comfortable for them, because, they're in memory care, so it's not it's more critical than assisted living, but you just have to adapt to what you're doing, because I'm a kind of storyteller, and I know everybody's name. And I go in there and I say, "Hey, remember me? And how you doing, Bob?" And, "Oh yeah." And whatever they said is their story. It doesn't really matter to me.
Wow.
I try to listen to their story and say,
nice.
"You remember when you're talking about Air Force, you were in the military in the World War III or II and stuff like that, and the Vietnam War. Tell me about that, And they start telling your story. So I think it's an opportunity for, even with this, when this is done, is to get back to the community, go back and maybe help someone with water, and go reach out to some of these people, because their loved ones, some of them don't have loved ones, some of them don't show up. So if you could be there and help them out and give them what they need, makes them smile, and happy.
No,
how long people live.
I agree 100%. I feel like this is a stop button and a reality check of, hey, really, what's important? What's important? Finally, families are spending quality time together. Maybe the father that worked all the time and had kids, and he never gets to spend time with the kids, or the mother that worked and never gets to spend time with the kids. Maybe this is a big reality check, and everybody's evaluating their life, and heading in a different direction. I know definitely after this is going to change everything in my life. Um, so I really wanted to get into the meat and potatoes of you're a wonderful person, and I'm so grateful to be able to have this conversation with you because you're a mentor. I think with your humbleness, you don't realize sometimes that you're really a great mentor. And I just wanted you to share your talents with everybody because you're already busy filming everyone else. Well, I thought I want to take the time out to talk about you and the meat and potatoes of what, makes you tick. And it's great to share that with everyone. So I had a couple questions and, not to go back and forth but I wanted to go more into detail about your projects and what makes you tick as a person, as a filmmaker, being in Vegas for all these years. I wanted to ask, what is the favorite project that you have worked on? What was your favorite? I know there's probably a few, but I'm.
Well, my favorite project it's a for right now just because of we had a limited budget and the quality of bringing the team together, making it very professional, including the poster and the DVD, whatever, is a film called Unwritten. It's a sci-fi thriller, and just how I started was I gave an opportunity to a filmmaker. We've done some short films together, and I said, let's make a little independent film that could be out there and bring a really nice crew together. And I said, you know what? I'm a producer, executive producer in a production company, but I give the filmmakers the choice to do what they need to do. I'm a kind of give them resources. And so I help them what they're doing and just make sure the best quality gets there. So, and it's right now, the film is on, it's on iTunes. It's on every kind of streaming platform, not Netflix. There's reasons for that, but it's on Amazon and all the different resources. And it's a really good independent film. And, it took a while to make. The filmmaking is probably a 1 to 3 year process for a film. So it's pretty interesting. So you just have to have the passion, and then you have to wake up every day and say this is what you want to do. And I'm always learning. No matter what age I am, I'm learning different techniques. I'm learning from different DPs. I'm learning different lighting skills. I'm learning different people. And the younger generation is learning too. So I can learn some things from them. So you got to be open to learn from all aspects of production, to take the feedback, criticism, and take it with a point and say, let me understand the other person's point of view and see how we could work together and have a goal.
Perfect. Give me a little bit of details on the storyline for that, Unwritten.
Unwritten, it's about the trailer's up there. It's pretty interesting. It's a guy that's living in a kind of a bookstore in the desert, and he's kind of a novelist, and he's kind of like he's writing a novel about the world, basically, and then a character from the book, the story that he's writing, is kind of a presence where he's there, and he has a not really as good relationship with his daughter, and his best friend is a turtle. So it's pretty unique in a sense, and it's kind of limited locations, and we do have a actor in there. He came in for a day named Lorenzo Lamas. He was from the show Renegade. Really nice guy. And at that time, he was I don't know if maybe people don't know about what he does, but he's also a helicopter pilot.
Oh, wow.
So he was traveling to Grand Canyon tours, and you could fly, hey, I'm having dinner and I'm flying with my significant other, and we could go, and our pilot is Lorenzo Lamas.
Wow.
So, and he was also doing independent films at the time, so we reached out to him, and he played the general in it, and now it's released out there. So there's a trailer. If you go to unwrittenthemovie.com, everything about the film, include the trailer and where the film is at, is there.
I saw some of the shots. I really like the library. I'm trying to figure out what bookstore you ended up using for that one. That was right
We
here, on location in Vegas.
Yeah, it was the bookstore on Sahara Decatur. Was a
Wow.
Hamburn bookstore.
Yeah, that was amazing. I saw some of the shots. I just wanted you to share with everyone. So that one was basically your favorite project that you worked on, and a little bit of the storyline, and that's available for the public. And I wanted to ask you, I know you've been doing this for decades. What was the most difficult project that you ever worked on, and the challenges that you had?
Well,
You have a
the
huge
most
list. You have a huge,
film.
your resume is out the door. So I wanted to ask you that. What was the most
Well, the
difficult?
first one is always the first one, and the first one was my movie called Mr. Ice Cream Man, which
Okay.
turned out to be a cult classic film. And we started the film in 1991, and we were shooting on a format called 3/4 inch. And then we did a pause, and then we reshot the film with a better camera in 1993 to 1994 on a Sony Betacam SP camera. And during that time, I was doing production, and I met a guy that was doing some stuff, Mac, who ended up being he wrote the script, and that was the hardest part, is finding a script. And I was amazed because I'm in Vegas doing work, and I met this guy that actually had a screenplay. I go, "You have a screenplay?" He had a screenplay, and he also was a director, and also could act. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So I'm a production guy, so for me, I was like, well, I could help with the lighting, I could help with the sound, I could help with whatever you need, because I have, that's my daily job in production. And so let's just make the film and have, let's put something together. And there's a lot of challenges, because you're dealing with kids, and you're dealing with certain things there. You're shooting in the summer when it's called Mr. Ice Cream Man, so all the parents like, hey, and we're shooting a not so pretty town, but they knew that we were there off of Bonanza, and we were just family with the kids. Hey, we're gonna take care of the kids for the day, give them some ice cream, and it was a pretty unique thing. But there's a lot of challenges there, because I started doing special effects makeup when I was a kid, so I ended up doing the special effects makeup and the lighting, and whatever team we had to show up, we showed up. Most of the time, it was a 2 or 3 person crew that made the film. And Mac and Jim Mills was very artistic they could paint, and really good artists. So the whole film was kind of storyboarded, which is
Okay.
very rare for a film. And we just got together and made the film. And there's the challenges of, shooting one scene, and the next scene you're trying to redo the scene, and then the actor hit his head, or because we had to do it in pieces. It took a year to do, but I was working as a production assistant on jobs out of town, and I would come out and go, hey, we want to shoot on the weekend, because I was also a producer, and the executive producer basically financed the film, because the only way that would get done, if just I would work and take the time out and say, hey, we have $500, let's shoot a scene, let's do what we can do, and piecemeal the film, which the whole goal was to make a film. And just I didn't know it was going to get out there and do a bunch of things. It was just making a goal. It was like, hey, let's just do this and see what happens. And if it comes out, it comes out, And then the good thing about what Mac did was he knew how to edit. So he edited a really nice trailer, and he put it out there, and we went to some markets, and we ended up selling the film. And that was back then when you used to go to the video time stores, Hollywood Video. You used to walk in the store, and then every Friday or something, it was kind of a theme. Hey, let's go down and see what's checking out and hang out. We had a group of people. We would check out the new films, and then you just rent them. And then every weekend would be a new film coming out. And that's when they needed a bunch of product. And that's when the film went out there, and you can still get copies on eBay, and some of them, I might be re-releasing some of it. The problem is, like, some of them, once someone gets the DVD, there was someone selling my DVD on demand.
Oh God.
At that time, my client was eBay. So at the time I was shooting for eBay, the
Right.
corporate video for eBay, and I told him, and I said,
Yeah.
there's someone selling my film on eBay for $150 on
Wow.
demand. And I'm like, I'm the producer. How's it on demand? I'm the one, I would be the one doing on demand. And so he kind of like, he deleted his agreement with eBay. So he couldn't sell them no more. But those are kind of the things where you making films and trying to be successful with the films, and then people take advantage of your film, or the filmmakers, you want to make some money back. So it's very difficult.
That's a lot of challenges. Yeah.
There's a lot of challenges with daily challenges. It's all about the prep, you know.
So thank you very much for sharing that with us. I wanted to ask you what I was reading this story about you when you were younger in your neighborhood, and then I wanted to ask you, you gotta shut your phone off, by the way. The dinging's driving me crazy. The
My
ding,
phone's on.
oh, it is. Yeah, it keeps dinging. I don't know.
I don't have
So,
a phone on.
oh, I don't know. It's dinging. It's not mine.
No.
So, I wanted to ask you, Jeremy, what drove you into the film business? I was reading about, of course, I know a little, about your past, and you're native in Vegas, aren't you? You're born and raised pretty much
I
in Vegas,
pretty
or
much, yeah. I've been in Vegas since 1978,
okay, and
and my first jobs, I was had a newspaper route. But then on the side, I was dressing up like the character from ET, and I
right,
was doing birthday parties. And so I was always interested in theater and showcasing and putting on costumes and, just being the character, just trying to be the character. When the movie Batman came out, I became Batman and went to birthday parties. And then I started dabbling in reading special effects makeup.
okay,
When I started doing special effects makeup and reading books and doing the cheap way. And when I used to get in trouble with my parents, they'd send me in my room. I go, oh, this is perfect, because I now had to just be isolated in my room. And so I would be imagining
and
different
focus.
things and come up with ideas. And then, I would like, oh, send me my room, thank you. Because it's kind of like I would be there by myself and I would just come up with my own ideas and imagination. That's when you have imaginations, you come out and try to build something. So that's where I started the special effects makeup. I go, well, can I be a special effects makeup artist? And one technique I did not have was sculpting. And
Really?
the sculpting of the talent was one of the same things, like, like being a part of a band member, but you can't play any music. It's like, you have to have some talent. I'm like, oh, what's my talent? So I did what I could do. And that's why I did the special effects makeup on Mr. Ice Command. And then eventually, in 1998, I started building and designing and constructing haunted houses for a business for like 20 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, can you share with everyone? I really love this story about your neighborhood creation that got you in trouble with the police. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean,
That was a great
at
story.
that time, we had a school bus, just like a school bus. You go into school and it's a yellow school bus, but wasn't a school bus. It was an RV. It was a school bus converted into an RV. And then I was like, well, why don't we do something out here? And at that time, these cameras came out where you put the VHS tape
Okay,
inside the camera, like a VHS
right.
tape.
Old
And
school. I'm talking about old school now.
yeah, so you put the tape inside the camera and
Yeah.
hey, let's just film the scene and do something. Let's just do something. And then what I did was, we had a bike, and I turned the bike over like a 10-speed bike, and I kind of made a fake accident scene in front of my house. And so I
Okay.
had like a hit and run.
Oh my God.
Like someone got hit by a car in front of my
Right.
house, and then I made a 5-gallon bucket of blood
Oh
thing I
my.
did. And so I threw it from one side of the street to the other side of the street, so it looked like
Oh,
it was a massive car wreck, And then we had, it was kind of like, and then we filmed it. And then the thing about it is, we're just shooting a scene, or
right.
shooting a movie, see what happens, and the next thing you know, you hear the sirens and all this crazy stuff, and then there was a guy that lived down the street from my house, and this car came by, stopped at the scene, and took off. was like, what happened to that guy? And my friend calls me down the street, goes, hey, this guy rammed in my car.
Oh my gosh.
Right in my car. I go, what are you talking about? I go, I don't know. I said, well, and then I ran down there with my camera. And then I was like, oh, the cops came and I almost got arrested. But I was like, oh, I'm the news photographer. I'm here doing this stuff. And they put me in handcuffs. They go, what are you doing? Are you part of that scene up there? I go, yeah, we were making a movie.
Like,
We're making a short film and we were just trying to,
they thought it was real. They thought it was real.
Well, they thought it was a real accident scene. And the next thing you know,
Mm-hmm.
they hired me the next year to do some special effects makeup for the paramedics.
Wow.
For the Halloween party.
You got a gig out of it.
Yeah, I kind of did. I kind of got a gig out of it. Yeah.
That, so that is that what made you passionate getting into film and that, I mean, your drive was, makeup and all that. Just you love you enjoy the whole passion of everything from
yeah, it's the whole passion of making films, watching films, studying films, reading books, studying, learning financing, learning how to do budgets, learning how to break down scripts.
location.
I learned everything about production. And then even when I was working at a company called Century Productions, which now is Levy Productions, I was scrubbing carpet for the production company. It was one of the biggest production companies. It's kind of still is the biggest production company. They're doing stuff with NFL films. And they had all the cameras and gear. I'm like, well, this is perfect. So I could learn. I couldn't afford college. I didn't have any money to go to college. I'm like, well, maybe I'll just learn from here. And so I wanted to learn all the different steps, how to make film, the process from special effects makeup to props to set dressing, being an office PA, being a grip, being an electrician, being a sound guy, being an AC, being whatever. Then I said, well, how do I turn my passion into business?
Right.
I said, well, all these different jobs that I'm doing, maybe people will hire me for that. So I started doing a production assistant work, which I still do today for some clients. That's the first production assistant is the first thing on a set. It's like a gopher basically, hey, you make errands and runs. And then I started working on sets going, hey, I'm a production assistant. Why don't you put me with the grips? I'll be with the grips. Be with electricians. I want to learn electric. Be with the sound department. Okay, I want to be with sound. Be the set dresser, and then be with props, even wardrobe and makeup.
Right.
We all need services. So I learned from the best people in the business to learn a trait. And then if I eventually learn the trait, I could say what I would like to do for living,
That was smart. I think, as a person who went to, 4 years of film and have student loans, I feel like that, you did it the right way because too, I think you can only learn so much in a classroom, but I think that hands-on experience, and that's why, my friends end up in LA is grip people first. But you have to get your feet wet. But I think you did it the right way, learning every part of the production. That way, you could fill in and you could learn and take what your knowledge and use that and moving forward.
Sure, yeah.
One of my favorite, this is what I was always wanted to ask you, knowing you for all these years. Who was your favorite person, celebrity that you got to work with? Because you've worked with everybody. You've worked with everybody under the sun, as far as famous people. To you, it was like when I first moved here, I used to get starstruck. When I met you, you're so calm and you're so patient and you're so passionate. But it's like when you're standing next to, all these celebrities, I learned from you. It's like, they're just people. They're just people. So I wanted to know who is your favorite celebrity you got to work with?
On the feature film or all around?
In general, who's your favorite person and why?
Well, here's really on the film side, it would be Brad Pitt. I worked on Mexican with him, and I was doing the lighting and working with him like 10 feet away. Just to see. Where was
I? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
That's on the film set. There's a lot of actors that come and go on stuff, but just seeing, because I watch people, study people, and then one of my really good friends that I really have a passion for, and still have an opportunity to work with him, and it was building a long-term relationship. Was a buddy that's still a buddy of mine, Pauly Shore.
Oh,
Uh,
wow. Okay.
so I
How
met
did,
Pauly Shore
how did you meet?
while working on this TV series called Pawn Stars, an American Restoration and Counting Cars. So the
Oh,
executive vice president of production who's running that, I live in Vegas, he's in New York. He said, we want to see if you want to do a comedy special with Pauly Shore. We want to co-produce it or put it together. You're my Vegas guy. Can you handle this? I said, yeah, I can handle this. So I put everything together, put the team together, and then we kind of productions produced the Showtime special. And then I met his dad, Sammy Shore, who lived in Summerlin in Vegas. So I've
wow.
been friends with Sammy Shore, and he passed away about a year ago or something. But I was friends with him for 10 years. And
Wow.
I've been friends with him because Sammy lived in Summerlin. I even gave an opportunity to open up a comedy store, which was at the Debbie Reynolds Hotel,
Okay.
and they changed the name over there. So I did that, and then to this day we actually made a short film. It's called Sin City Psycho with Pauly Shore. It's an 11-minute movie you guys could see, but it's not the normal thing you'll see with Pauly Shore, you know. So it's just long-term relationships, I was like, hey, I'm a friend of yours, and when he after knowing me, then he would say, hey, can you pick me up from the airport? We want to go see my dad, because I would ask him, hey, you want to go see your dad when you come into Vegas? I would always hound him on that. He's busy, but I would say, hey, let's do that. So when he would come to Vegas, I would help him, take care of him,
Wow.
and very close with him on a different side. But I saw the personality of Pauly Shore as not only funny, that's his gig, he has to do that stuff, but I see him more as
As a
a
friend.
very, well, not only a good friend, but seeing him as, like I am, very passionate,
Yeah.
very hard worker. He's writes scripts. He's a director. He's a production guy. From that side of it,
Wow.
So some
A
of the
lot of people
skits that
don't
he
know that.
does,
Yeah.
well, some of the things that Paulie does it's him. It's just his thing. But I see him from a different perspective as a business person, as a evolution of Paulie, doing new things and come up with new ideas, and just he's doing it's Paulie Rants, and what he does was he was doing a Paulie Rants radio broadcast show.
Okay.
But now he's doing it. You can see it on YouTube, and he's really cool. I mean, his fans are. It's very easy to get a hold of him, and he just, he's like a very nice guy. He's doing this thing called the Paulie Rants, and he has cameras at his house
Okay.
where he lives. So he lives in a fourplex, and so he has 4 cameras, and he has his friend switching the camera, so you can see him go to the kitchen, and he'll make food, and he'll have special guests on there. It is pretty funny. So, and then whatever the rant is for today, he was doing. I just saw yesterday he was doing Elvis songs and singing, and I'm like, I haven't seen him do that before. It was pretty funny because he has his own little. It's Paulie's touch.
It's like him being real. He's just being real.
That's what he's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
He's a single person, and you get to see him just be himself, which it took a long time to get there because he's older now, and so he understands. But back in the day, he's more humble now, and he's like, but he was doing all those films, very famous, and I think being humble now and doing what he was doing now is just an opportunity for him to reach out to his fans clubs, his fan base, by doing his comedy around the world. He works 15 to 20 days a month. He has schedules on his website, paulyshore.com.
Right.
And he's very busy. So that's my buddy.
You love him for his drive. I remember him from the 80s being the Weasel. I remember him from the 80s doing all those movies from the 80s. He was very popular, very funny in all those movies. So now you feel like that he's grown as a person and he's more humble now, reaching out to his fans. I'll have to look at that online.
He's doing the watch parties too. So he'll put up like Biodome and he
Okay.
watch party, Pauly Shore, and then you could go watch the film, or he's very very personable, you know, and that's the reason he does it. He just says what he says. It is what you're going to get. It's not like,
Yeah.
you know,
I
whatever
admire
on
him.
his mind.
Yeah. He's like him in the raw. It's basically him in the raw. He's just being himself.
That's it. Yeah. That's one of those things. I think more celebrities should do that. So you actually get the, you know, they're just like, you know, they're so like, you see them, you don't
No,
get their personality when they're acting. You're like, and some of them you don't really want to watch anyway.
right. Well, some people, I don't think people know who, you know, life is a journey of finding out who you are in general. I mean, I know as I get older, I try to be more humble and, you know, we're all just trying to figure out the journey in life of who we are. So I appreciate you answering that question. I was going to ask you, so how is the closure of Vegas affecting you and other artists? I think you kind of answered that in the beginning. Everyone's probably going stir crazy. You know, I was thinking of, you know, having a small thing where you and I talk to other people and get connected. Like you said, this is an opportunity. You and I see it as an opportunity. You motivated me to say, this could be an opportunity to get everybody out there instead of sitting at home.
Yesterday. So, you know, I had an idea. I said, you know what? Let me see what you guys are doing, because it's like me and my wife, we work together closely as a team, and she's working for a nonprofit now, but she helped me build the company. You know, 24 hours a day, you need a support team that knows your creativity, because the creative part where you and Travis, you guys are both creative, you know, but you guys could work together as a team and build your team, build your brand, build your own thing. You know, we built GotFilms.
You're bringing my personal life into your interview. I love this.
Well, you know, I think it's a support team. You have to give whatever, you know, like I do things now, and yes, I have to be, you know, take out the trash, whatever, but that's like one of those things now. That's what I do.
Right.
The laundry, I do the laundry, and, you know, do some things there, but you have to give.
You're right. Any
You
relationship
just have to help out. Like, you know,
team.
if you help, no matter if it's in business or life or whatever, you have to, first off,
work together.
You know, if it wasn't about our God,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of relationships wouldn't be here, you know, because everybody in the world saying you have issues, just divorce is the next step. And I'm the opposite of that, because I'm like, no, let's build a bond. What are the problems we could work out, and you know, work together and make it better, and then help.
Well, we could do a whole nother show on that, on just relationships and.
Oh yeah, we could do that too.
A whole other show on that, because I believe in you know, I'm not to get too personal, but my parents have been married for years and they never threw the towel in. I've seen them go from having tons of money to no money to having little money. It didn't matter, because they stuck together. They stuck together and they worked it out, and they taught me to be humble and to be grateful and appreciative. So you know, we could do a whole nother show. People bail. Everybody wants to bail.
Yeah, we could do another show.
On your computer.
I don't have. That's my. I don't.
I think
email. Hold on a second. That might be my email.
I think so. You're a very popular person.
I don't get the. Hold on a minute.
I don't know. I'm just learning the Zoom. I love the Zoom. Do you love my?
You know, you could do a share. You could share a screen too. I could share my screen. You know that?
Cool.
Hold on a second. Let me just turn this. Uh-oh. Where are we at? Okay, I'm back.
So, back to your question. Yes. Yeah. Oh, so yes, basically I have a little, I'll share with you, like you said, working as a team in a relationship. I remember my friend though, who's a hairdresser. Let me tell you a funny story about her. She was a hairdresser. She cut hair all day. Her husband came home from work and said, I need a haircut. You know what she said? That's the last thing I want to do right now. You know, so he had to go pay someone to cut his hair, because she was cutting hair for 8 hours on her feet and exhausted. You know, that's the whole joke. Yeah. It's like the guy, my cousin, he puts on, I love this guy. He's my cousin's husband. He's a builder. He's an Irishman from Boston, and he's a builder. And she said, you built 50 decks in the neighborhood off the back of people's houses. When are you going to finish our deck? Never. His is the last. So I'm married to an editor and a film guy. I'm the last project. You know, I'm last on the list, but that's okay, because I'm
but today, this is the first step.
This is the first step. Today's the first step.
Yeah, we're just doing it, you know. Also, I was going to ask you. I could probably show you unwritten the trailer
Oh, yeah.
from here from my computer. So
Oh,
if I
good.
do,
I want to see the trailer. Go ahead.
let me just check something real quick.
And then I want to ask you back to another question, but go ahead.
Here we go. Hold on. I'm gonna get this thing. Hold on, watch this thing.
I hope I'm not talking too loud. This is my first time doing this, so.
No. Oh, hold on. You ready?
Yeah.
Watch this thing. Hold on.
Okay.
You see it?
Go wider. It's not, let me see. No. You gotta, no. Open with QuickTime Player. Try it. I think it's cutting it off, Jeremy. Yeah, it's cutting it off. Oh, it's cutting it off.
So do you live here?
The other way.
Like Hemingway.
No, it's cutting it off.
Stories. Our story begins 30 years from now.
When's the last time you left this bookshop?
And cut the whole thing off. Can you move it to the right?
He's gonna be back any second, you understand?
Yeah, right
Show
there.
it. Look,
Leave it right there.
he's a villain of my story and he was just here by pushed.
There you go.
What makes you think he's gonna destroy the world? Because that's what I wrote. He also had a birthmark, shaped like a flame. Just like the character in my story. I met Sherwood exactly where the story ends. We have to find that book. That's the only solution. We're dead. All of us.
It's all in your head, damn it!
Albert, he's not your character.
You just killed someone!
Maybe I couldn't hurt a fly. He said you're hurting people.
This is all in your head. None of this is real.
Tell me I'm not crazy.
I like the opening scene. I got to watch that. Travis showed me. I love the opening scene on that. That's really cool.
That's one thing you guys, you can share from your computer. So if you were talking to somebody and they have something to show, they could just need to work out the details.
I'm gonna have to learn how to do the split screens. My friend's doing a karaoke Zoom thing next week, so I'm gonna have to learn how to do this. But
Yeah.
I'm getting better. I'm gonna learn. That's my goal is to this week is do all the split screens with the Zoom and have a couple different people. Maybe you and I.
Yeah, you could do multiple people too. You could do up to 6 people.
On. Yeah, and then ask them some questions. Like, I have some friends. You have many friends in town. Like, maybe I could get some people that they're not working. Like you said, these celebrities aren't working. This is what my next question was. How do you think this is affecting all the artists? Well, they're sitting home doing nothing. So my idea was I used to go watch Kelly Clinton every Monday and Wednesday. I would love to get her maybe to talk on here and ask her a couple of questions about her passion and her life. Get them busy, get everybody busy again. So I was going to ask you, so what do you think, what opportunity does Vegas have to offer when it's up and running, of course, that other cities don't, Jeremy? Because I've lived in a couple different places and I just feel like there's so many different things. What do you think that Vegas has to offer other than other cities, as far as filming or as far as just everything in general?
Well, I think there's a chance for Vegas to really find the talent of Vegas and really try to experiment with the talent. And, there's places like Seattle and San Francisco and some places of New York where they do have like artist networks, and I think that Vegas has a lot of opportunity besides the gambling and besides the strip. And, we're very busy doing major shows. And stuff like that. I think it's going to amp up again. Everything's kind of pushing till June or July anyway, when the summer heats up.
Yeah.
But, that's just the convention and working stuff. I think that there might be like a talent workshop or something we could do, or something unique and different. There's a lot of people now that I didn't even know they're playing drummers and musicians and singers and dancers, and they're production people, and they're like, oh, you could do that too.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of opportunity there. So I'd like to take a negativity, turn it into a positive, and figure out what can we do to make it better,
Exactly. So this was my last question I wanted to ask, or we can keep chatting if you'd like, but I wanted to ask you, so here's a funny thing. When I was so impressed that, so I took this small lighting class, well, it's a lighting class with you.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that day as long as I live, because I was like, I just spent 4 years in college and I'll be in debt for the rest of my life. And I spent, I don't know, 45 minutes with you. And I was like, you took everything out of everything that you had. You went over all the different lighting of Kino lighting. And it just, I was flabbergasted that in 45 minutes that you went over something that I didn't, maybe I wasn't paying attention because we're in classroom reading out of a book, but I'm that type of person like you. I would rather be on your set and you tell me, hey, this is this light, Angela, this is what you need it for. That's how I learn. I don't learn, I'm a hands-on type of person. So I was completely amazed by your lighting class. That was amazing. So I wanted to ask you, why do you think lighting specifically is so important during part of a scene? Elaborate on what you think of. Think about all the famous film production people and what you do, and just like that scene there. If you could go over some of the light, why you use those lighting, that lighting.
It's just, the basics of lighting is the 3 basic lights, which is a backlight. See, backlight. A side light and a fill light. Oops. But you could also do this too. You could do, here's a piece of paper. You can do a lot of things with lighting, mood lighting, you could do like, ooh. See this with a piece of paper, like that's a lighting effect right there.
It sets a mood, yeah.
It's a mood lighting, it's like, hey, I'm gonna, you get, scary lighting, up lighting, shadow lighting,
It's really scary.
And then once you know what the lighting can do and what are the names of lighting, there's different lights. It's like a painting. Exactly like a painting. A director of photography on set is seeing a canvas and basically how he's going to light the canvas with dimension of lighting, dimension of painting, basically. Same thing when you have dimension and lighting, sharpness and different tricks you could do. There's different lighting skills for lighting a green screen. There's different skill set levels for whatever, but if you learn the 3 basic lighting, and a sun is a light, you could use the sun, you could use reflectors, you could use the sun from your window. There's different temperatures, so there's a lot to it. And then once you know the techniques of that, then it's the capturing of the sensor with the camera, and also way of doing things. There's different things you can do with, back in the day when I started on Super 8mm, shooting with a Super 8 camera, and eventually moved up to 16, Super 16, 35, and Super 35, you learn there was a lot of different film stocks, and each one did a different thing. So it depends on what type of look you're trying to get, what kind of mood you're trying to get, and if it fits the story. Some people just shoot random stuff, and you're like, why did you use that shot for whatever, or why do you have that angle, whatever, but it's a lot of details that go behind it. With the director of photography, also the director's vision, what he wants to get, and also from a screenplay and the writer. So it all works in together between blocking lights, the mood of the lights, the exposure of the lights, this whatever the storyboards say, and it's all workable, So here's my little but there's different things you can do just with the light. And it's just playing with the light and just like special effects. I picked up special effects and I started doing special effects and makeup, just whatever I had. And this is a light from my house, you know, I can
Right.
light with, you know, this thing is like a light bulb. How much is a light bulb? You know, if I put the light bulb here, now you can see my little light bulb. Okay. Now I'm gonna use a piece of paper. See?
Yeah.
I'm gonna diffuse the light to make it softer.
Right.
There's different gels and different things the lighting does, but you could use, you know, cheap stuff or fancy stuff if you have no budget.
Yeah, we
So
should.
when you don't have a budget, you just use. I lit a whole movie with the construction lights, and we shot a film on 16 millimeter, and they didn't have a budget. I said, well, just what's the budget? $100. That was the lighting budget. I'm like, huh. I had to go get lighting to light up a film with $100.
You made it happen though for the person. That was nice.
I made it happy because I've been on set and studying lighting, what it does and everything else, and also the tricks you have to have. And it's just basically like anything, getting on set and learning the tricks of the trade. Watching now the technology now, like back then, there was no technology for video. There's no YouTube, no stuff. I had to learn hands-on.
Right.
And it's trial and error. Like if I'm working for MTV and I'm setting up a scene, there's no scouting time. It's like you show up, light the set in an hour and a half, you got to be ready to roll, including camera, audio, lighting, everything. And that's a skill set you need to, it's, you know, running gun. When you're doing reality TV show, it's a different type of lighting. If you're doing portrait lighting, interviews, that's a different type of lighting skill set, you know, so you kind of learn it. Every day is a little bit differently how you do it.
Yeah, I think you're very patient with people and a very good teacher. And that lighting class was amazing. I think you're a great mentor, and you should share that more. And,
Well, what I want to do is, I mean, you know, for me, you know, I learned a little bit differently, you know, and a lot of people don't know. I had some learning disabilities in school too, and I couldn't just, you know, my stepmother would just tell me all the answers. I'm like, I really wanted to learn, but I had really memory issue problems and studying problems where I have to read and read and read. I'm like, I just don't get it. You know, I mean,
right.
I don't know why. I don't know what the technique is to memorize stuff. Like I've never learned this stuff, and they never teach you in school. They said, oh, he has an issue with learning problems. Put him in a learning disability class or something like that, you know? And I was like, so I did that. And I was like, okay, well, I got along with everybody because everybody had the same, just whatever the disability was. So I said, well, how could I make a disability become positive? I'm like, well, I'm a factual person. Like, let me see something and let me put something together and let me figure out what's going on. My first computer, I had a Commodore 64. And then my second computer, I had a 128. When I learned back then, I wanted to learn how the computer works. And eventually, I was doing some things that you shouldn't be doing, or they call them hackers. Because
Right.
I didn't
about the computer.
I was programming. Yeah, I was basically, you learning the computer, take the whole thing apart,
right.
figure out how to put together, because I'm going to do electrics and figure out how does this machine run.
Right.
And I was like, well, how does it run? Put it back together. How do you put it back together? And if a part doesn't work, you got to go back and redo it again. And you spend all day putting stuff together.
I think that you're preaching to the choir when it comes to, first of all, I could read the same sentence over and over. We could do a whole nother class on that. By the way, back in the day when you and I went to high school, they just stuck everybody in a disability class because they didn't want to take the time to teach the kid how to learn. You know that people learn in 3 different ways. You know, it's visual, it's hands-on, it's audio, visual, and seeing and hearing. Did you know that? I mean, the average person, like my sister, she just got straight A's, Jeremy. My sister just got straight A's. I definitely suffered because I would read the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And couldn't retain the information. But guess what? There's a movie called A Champion, and it's an Italian director, and it's about this famous soccer player. So they did the same thing to him. They kept telling him he's stupid and he's not learning, he's stupid, he's not learning. So ironically, he gets a private tutor and a professor to his house because his grades are bad. And if he keeps getting bad grades, he's getting kicked off the soccer team. As you know, soccer is very important in Italy, of course. So they hire him this tutor, and he watches his coach draw out different plays on board. You know, when you're a soccer person or a football person, you have a coach that draws it out.
Yeah.
This is the play. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. Well, the professor got a dry erase board and just started writing all the information on history. Think about this. If you and I didn't retain the information and somebody drew it on a board, on a whitey board, and then showed us physically, I'm sure you would have retained the information completely different than just reading it out of a book and then taking a test. So
Yeah.
anyways, he gets straight A's. He ends up getting straight because somebody taught him and the way he knew how to retain information. But
Yeah,
everybody isn't able to read a book and just remember that. So I really like that movie. It's called The Champion. You'll have to look at it. So, I mean, don't feel, you know, that was a terrible thing for me as well, of like, hey, we'll just put the class clown over here that can't read, you know, that doesn't retain things, but that wasn't the case.
No,
Right?
I understand perfectly. What another movie that I was putting together, it's what was the name of it? Here we go. One second. It's well, you know, the thing about it, there's another movie I was putting together. It's a Space Captain. It's about a kid that's dealing with Asperger's.
Oh, yeah.
It's a drama.
Yeah.
And I have a production guy that I met on set, and I was like, you know, he's a production assistant. He shows up. He has everything, the tools,
Right.
you know, everything. I'm like, I've never met a production assistant already, you know, ready to go.
Right.
And then I was like, well, let me hire you for production assistant. You're ready to go. So I ended up hiring him to do some production assistant work. He turns out to be the best production assistant I have. And it's like, well, he kind of like he gets it, you know, he gets it. He's like knows production. He's on it, you know. He's aware of everything, and he wants to do all that stuff. And then I was like, he calls me on the phone and goes, I said, Marcus, why are you so sad or whatever? Well, you know, he goes, well, I was going to watch my neighbor's dog, and she found out I have Asperger's, and she said I couldn't watch her dog no more.
Oh my God, that makes no sense.
I go, what is Asperger's?
Right.
And I said, well, I don't even know what Asperger's was. So I had to look it up, and I was like, he has Asperger's.
Right.
And so I said, well, you know, don't worry about anything else. I'm the boss. So as long as you're making me, you know, you're happy for me, you're perfectly fine. Don't stress out. And I use him, you know, we still communicate. And the thing about it, I said, hey, I'm doing this movie about this thing. I think you should be doing the sound, because he bought all the sound gear and he wants to do sound. He really knows a lot more than me in sound, like frequencies and all this stuff. Like, I'm a sound guy for 30 years, but he knows, like, I'm buying this G4 2565759 frequency. I'm like, okay, great, that's great. You know, so he's very
his IQ level is probably higher than everybody else's.
yeah,
too.
he has Asperger's, but he's like a production guy. So I told him, I go, why don't you be the sound mixer on this movie set? So he was a sound mixer on a movie set, and then we also reached out to other people that have Asperger's. They came on set, and I said, well, what do you want to do? And the lady goes, oh, I want to be a photographer. I go, well, there's the photographer guy. Why don't you stay with him all day long and pick up the camera and take some photos?
There you go.
She said, really? I go, yeah. What do you want to do? I want to do this or that. I go, okay, well, work with the lighting guy, and, you know, you could be hanging out with lighting. And these people were like so amazed that anybody gave them a chance, because they have Asperger's, but they wanted to be on a film set. They have passions to be photographers and people on set. I go, how come a lot of these other people don't give chances to people that have never had a chance?
That doesn't even make sense, right? I'm so happy you gave him that opportunity.
So I'd say, hey, you guys are, you know, and the director of the movie, her name is Lisa. Her daughter has Asperger's. And so she did this movie about this, you know, dealing with family members and everything have Asperger's, and they're trying to get they're trying to leave their house, and they want to do their own things. Well, now Marcus has his own house. His parents, you know, he's paying his parents the mortgage on the house. and he's doing everything himself. I actually need to call him today because I haven't talked to him in a while to figure out, because he has these panic attacks, kind of like, you know, he's when he wants to do something, he's on it. I said, well, just slow down and don't worry about it. You know, I have to tell him to do that. You know, he's a Christian, everything else, but people take advantage of the people too on set. Like, hey, Marcus, can you do this? Can you do that? And then like he makes a deal with them or does something, and they take advantage of him. You know, doesn't get paid or does work or whatever.
Yeah.
But people, you know, there's people taking advantage of people too. So you have to watch that.
Yeah, I understand that a lot. I think my friend has it that's never been diagnosed, and he's actually one of the most intellectual people I've ever met in my life. Most of them are really high IQ, you know. Are you aware of that? That most of them are very highly intellectual, and they're on that level.
He just has I think Asperger is the social elements.
Yes.
Person, but everything exactly. Like if he wants to do something very
right,
that's what he wants to do for a living, he's on it. He's on 150%.
They become obsessive with it. Well, think about it. You've heard of the, I don't want to use the terminology, they say the mad scientists, but think about scientists. Think about if you look at the history of America and look at all the scientists, they were so highly intellectual, but then guess what? They had no social skills, zero. They don't want to be with the public. They don't want to talk to people. They were just happy in their lab. Do you know what I mean? Like, so there's that end of it. There's also that side of it. People don't, I don't understand why somebody would not, as a matter of fact, I would allow someone to watch my dog because I know they would be obsessed about making sure my dog was okay that had it. So that doesn't even make sense to me. Weird. Anyways, so what did you think of you think we need to get more people on? And I wanted to thank you, and thank you for your time, and thank you for getting us motivated to do this. It sure beats sitting around doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad. Thank you very much. I appreciate you sharing everything, and I think we should continue. We could have topics. You can pick a topic, and we could do this again next week.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, I think we could just get some out there, and you could talk to some other people maybe in the film business or the Nevada Film Office. You could talk to people like that, and then stunt people or entertainers, you know, musicians and music, and maybe they might have something to go, hey, watch my live stream tonight or whatever they're doing. They could promote themselves. Yeah,
I'm going to share my friend. He's an opera singer out here. So I think I'm going to interview him and talk to him about his passions and what his goals are for the future.
That's awesome.
So thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. This was great.
Yeah.
Get the juices flowing again.
That's a good test. All right. God bless you. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. And I'm Angela. And thank you, Jeremy Settles. Thank you.
Take care.